Welcome to the first showing of ISN Indian Sport Network on K.I.S.S TV 5. What we'll be doing on this show is we'll be bringing you previews of what will happen throughout the week and recapping what did happen throughout the week. And on my show with me is Keaton Collins and Roland Mills, as they'll be helping me communicate what's happening throughout the week. For the first episode, we're going to be having a JV and varsity recap of the county. And first, we'll move on to the boys JV county. We both, Mentor Central and Union City, both have talented JVs. And we played them in the first game, and it was a nail-biter up to the very end. We lost by 2, and Mason Good missed a last-second buzzer-beater shot. It was one of the toughest shots. If he would have hit it, it would have been one of the craziest shots I've seen hit. And so we lost by 2, but the interesting thing is our good friend Jacob Moore kind of lost his head at the end of the game as the ref fouled him out on, and what I believe was it was kind of a iffy foul to foul a kid out on, and Jacob Moore lost his head and said something to the ref and got a technical foul, his second technical foul of the year, and that cost them 5 points by giving them, because it was a shooting foul, so they hit those free throws. They hit 2 for shooting foul, and then they hit 1 out of the 2 for the technical foul. They got the ball back and got 2 points. All adds up to 5, and we lost by 2. Do the math. Without the technical foul, we went by 3. So what Roland, do you have to say about technical fouls at the end of the game?
Well, to be honest, I think it's unacceptable, really. I mean, in a crucial moment like that, you can't really lose your head because, I mean, as you can see, it cost them the game, and just behavior like that in general is not really acceptable in sports. Yeah. So I kind of agree with the ref on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was apologetic on social media. He sent out a tweet that I'm sorry for what I caused my teammates or something along those lines. And then later on, he apologized to the coaches and the guys. So what do you have to think? What do you have to say about that, Keaton? After he got that technical foul, his second of the year, do you think after his apology to the team, do you think that kind of showed that he learned his lesson a little bit and got to keep his cool towards the end of the games?
I feel like the apology was a good step in the right direction. It obviously does not change the fact that they lost the game, and that win would have been nice on the record. But apologizing to the players for what happened and the coaches for what he put them through and what happened, I feel like it's a good step in the right direction, and hopefully he learns his lesson because, this cost a crucial game, especially in the county tournament that would have advanced and made it to the championship. So I feel like it doesn't make it right that he did that, but it kind of ties up some loose ends with the team.
Yeah. Can you kind of speak? I know we just talked about the JV county results of what we just learned. Can you kind of speak on who won which games and the champions of the JV county?
Yeah. So Mentor Central beat us, and then Winchester beat Union, I believe, and then Winchester beat Southern. So then Mentor Central and Winchester played in the championship, and Winchester ended up winning that game.
So Winchester, I didn't think Winchester's JV would win because some of their players, Trey Graft played in the varsity county tournament, and it was he played too many minutes to play JV. But basketball is kind of a crazy sport, so you never know what's going to happen. Mentor Central, I didn't think Mentor Central's JV would be able to hang with our JV, but they won by 2 against us. So that just proves that anything can happen in sport and basketball. Now we're going to move on to the JV county tournament for the girls' side. And the first game we played against was Winchester's JV. It was a nail-biter through the whole game, basically. And with about a minute left, we were down 3. And the point guard, who is a role player on varsity, plays JV as well, Mackenzie Green, just dribbled down, threw up a prayer with about 2 or 3 people on her, and hit a deep 3 to tie it. And Ron, I want to ask you a question here. What do you feel like her emotions were going through that whole series of events of just throwing up a prayer and hitting it?
Well, she was probably pretty excited about that. I mean, I can't imagine anything else. I mean, to tie up the game towards the end, JV, that's pretty crazy.
County, yeah. Then we fouled, which was kind of a iffy foul. It was on the side of should you call that and let that decide the game? It's always opinionated. Like when I watch basketball games, I don't like to see, unless it's a clear, blatant foul, I don't like to see weaker fouls called at the end of games, because that allows the foul call to decide the game rather than the players actually get to decide the game. So, yeah, can you elaborate on that? Like, why do you agree with foul calls, weaker fouls being called at the end of the game, or do you think you're more of my opinion where you shouldn't let fouls decide the game? Some people believe that a foul's a foul whether or not it's towards the end of the game or not.
Oh, I would believe a foul is a foul, even if it's at the beginning or the end of the game. But I don't like seeing weaker fouls at the beginning of the game either. Like, I agree with you, weaker fouls at the end, but I don't like seeing them at the beginning either, because it's, I don't know, it's some refs, like, you see them, like yesterday, I was at the JV Girls County Constellation game, and a girl blocked a girl, the ball went out of bounds, and the ref called a jump ball. And I had never seen that before.
There's definitely a lot of refs with they like to blow the whistle.
Yeah, so it's just like quick calls like that, and calls where you don't let the players actually play, and they touch them and they're like, oh, it's a foul. I like seeing them actually playing the game and not getting easy fouls all the time.
Then after that foul was called, they hit both free throws, went up 2. We came down, chucked up a 3/4 court shot, missed it. We lost by 2. No, we lost by 2, but Coach Adams believed that there was a foul, and it was a harder foul than what was called down there. And I've never seen Mr. Adams, besides on the football field, I've never seen him get more hyped up. And Roland can probably attest to how hyped and pumped up he gets. And can you kind of elaborate on how you feel about him being able to pump up a team and kind of have the team's back on the field if calls don't go their way?
I think it's a pretty good thing, because in the middle of a game, if you're kind of down, he'll pump you up and get you real excited. Then he'll always stand up for you. In that case, he thought the foul was harder, so he stood up for the team and tried to do what was best. And
yeah, it's always good to see. It's always good to see when a coach has another player's back. Now, can you guys attest to what happened throughout the rest of the JV County Tourney?
Yeah, so we lost against Winchester, and then Winchester beat Southern's JV. I believe Southern's JV beat Union. So then the winners were, for the championship game for the JV County, was Monroe Central and Winchester, and then we played for the 3rd and 4th place against Southern, and it was us. And then we played, and we were up by 2, and then there's some fouls or whatever. Some people hit some free throws, and then we were up by 1, and we had 6 seconds left, and the coaches wanted the players to foul the girl, and they didn't, and the girl hit a 3-pointer with 4 seconds left, and then we received the ball back, and then Reagan Hoggett dribbled out of bounds, and it was their ball, so we lost that game. And then in the championship game between Monroe Central and Winchester, Monroe Central came out on top of that game. A pretty close game.
So there you have it. The JV tourney, the girls championships, where Monroe Central won the girls champions, and then the boys, Winchester, won it for them. We'll be back right after this short break. Stay tuned on KISS TV 5. Thanks for watching.
Country Barons Dog Grooming is owned and operated by Jessica Holt, a certified dog groomer. Jessica is like no other dog groomer. When it's their appointment time, they are groomed from start to finish. No dryer cages. She hand dries all her dogs. She is currently accepting small and large breeds. She is located on 2060 West Division Street, Union City, Indiana. Be sure to like her page on Facebook at Country Barons Dog Grooming. To schedule an appointment, you can contact her at 765-729-4046, or you can also message her on Facebook.
We're back from the break, and we're going to be discussing the varsity boys county tourney now. And in the first game we played, it was a loss against the MC Boys, the eventual champions, who are now 11-1. One of the best teams we'll see all year. They're going to be a small step down from Northeastern's basketball team. And so, what do you got to say about the skill level of Monroe Central's basketball team? Looks like they have all the right pieces together.
Yeah, I would say their skill level is, it's up there. And I went to their only loss against Northeastern and the potential that they played at with that type of competition. And I believe Northeastern was ranked number 2 in Double A, and they were just performing really well, and they only lost that game by like 6 points. And then you bring it to like our game where we're just a little bit underneath Northeastern skill level, and they shined and they passed the ball around. And
Yeah, they have some really nice ball movement, and their defense is pretty solid. Usually, when you see them play, the other team can't really get in and score some baskets.
That was one of our problems was getting the ball to the hoop and scoring offensively. Isaac Jeffries, who's usually one of the top-notch scorers, coming off a game where he scored 27 points against Cowan, only scored 2. So it's going to be hard to win a game when our best scorer is only scoring 2 points.
Yeah, and it felt like against Monroe Central, every time they got the ball down in the post to Dustin Brown, he was just scoring it, and then him doing that, then the defense would clinch down on him, and he would just dish it out, and they'd hit a 3, and it was just pretty unstoppable for the most part.
Our defense definitely was something that determined the outcome of that game. Coach Barger afterwards talked to one of the reporters and said, obviously, our Achilles heel this year has been the defensive end of the floor. We have stressed defense that wins championships, and in the meantime, offense has taken care of itself. He's meaning that usually our offense is what is keeping us in games, and when we were against Monroe Central's defense, that just didn't seem to be working. So when we play Monroe Central again in the regular season, I believe that it's going to be a closer game because Isaac Jeffries will have one of his normal nights where he at least scores 15 points. Thornhill scored 15 points in the county game, so that always helps. And then you followed with Foster's 9. So if we have those 3 big seniors all scoring baskets and getting on the board while we try to sit down and play better defense, I think it would be a lot closer game than it was in the JV county. And so what do you got to say about the upcoming game where we're going to play them in the regular season? What would you like to see differ out of our Ute City Indians?
I'd probably say I'd like to see some better ball movement because, they have a really good defense, and I feel like if we just move the ball around better, then I think we'll have a better chance of scoring.
Yeah, that's...
And also defense, too, because, Monroe Central's a pretty good team. They can move the ball pretty well, so I think we need to step up our defense a bit. So
we've been working on both those things in practice, actually, for the last 2 days. You both were broadcasting the game, and we just talked about what MC was doing. What do you think Izzy Nash brings to the table for Monroe Central?
I feel he brings he gives them a good tempo, and he's a good point guard for them, but also when they bring in Lane Lewis off the bench as point guard, then that opens Izzy Nash up as more of a shooter, and when he needs to hit 3-pointers, he does not afraid to step up and take them, and then he could drive to the hoop, and we saw some pretty impressive shots of him going in, over Trevor Thompson, and it's pretty impressive.
He's a smaller guy in stature, but he if you don't believe that he'd be able to grab rim, actually during the game
he did.
He was hanging on the rim. Was it against? Who was it against?
It's against Southern.
Southern, yeah. Monroe Central was playing Southern, and Southern was on the other end with Monroe Central as they were shooting free throws, and Izzy Nash was staying back, and he jumped up and was hanging on the rim, but the refs didn't catch it, and I would assume that a lot of the fans would be going crazy saying, get that guy off the rim, but they really didn't draw attention to him very much.
I didn't feel it was a factor of the game because he was on the other end, so not a lot of people saw it, and then also with the Boys County, it started out us and Monroe Central. Then Monroe Central had to play Southern, and they only beat Southern by 3 points, I believe. And then Union and Winchester had to face, and then it was Monroe Central and Winchester in championship. And that game was pretty good.
Yeah. The score doesn't, at the end of the game, the score kind of got stretched out, but throughout the whole game it was pretty good with Austin Lawrence. One of the big men from Winchester hit a buzzer beater 3, got into halftime, and you can tell all of them were hyped up. I'm going to ask you one more question about the whole county tourney boys county tourney as a whole. You guys did broadcasted all the games, and you were there sitting right in the crowd, could see everybody on the other side of the field, on the other side of the court. What would you say the atmosphere was like? Because it was packed, full house almost every night. It was probably pretty loud. I know even wearing the headsets that we wear, it's it's quiet, but it's still loud. Right when you take them off, it's like a brick wall hits you with sound.
I'd probably say like the Monroe Central side they were crazy.
Yeah.
They were loud, yelling, and it was pretty exciting. And then our side, I think like once we got down,
Yeah.
a little bit disappointed, kind of calmed down. But overall, it was pretty heated in there, and it was pretty loud. Good time.
Yeah, through the whole championship, it was a loud atmosphere. Got the players going, especially the championship game that me and Roland broadcast, and it was. I mean, even with the headsets on, you couldn't even hear yourself think, and I was just like, "Wow, someone calm these players down."
Yeah. Also, I don't think I've ever seen the gym that full. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no room at all to sit.
During the boys county tourney, the last day of the county tourney, the girls and boys championship, I had to sit in one of the stairs, on one of the stairs just to watch.
Yeah, Mr. Thornburg was smiling ear to ear, selling that place out.
Yeah,
over there.
making good money.
Looked like a kid in a candy shop.
So Roland, what do you think was one of the most exciting plays you saw?
I'd probably have to say the Union game against Winchester when Farmer did a nice little crossover. And, yeah, it was pretty nice.
So it wasn't one of the high caliber games, and as you can see on the replay we're about to show you, the stands aren't packed because Winchester blew out Union, but actually one of the best plays of the county tourney came from a Union player that they were down 22 points at the time, and he hits a three after a crossover to tie it up.
Yeah, and he's not a big player. As we watched him play throughout the whole county tourney, he's not a tall player. He's probably like 5'3", maybe 5'4", 5'5", and
Yeah,
but he's
small guy.
he's
He's
quick
small.
and he
Shoot.
passes it and can shoot, and he makes things happen for his team. And there's not really that much talent surrounding him, but he plays pretty well.
So now we're going to take a look at this replay real quick. And here we go. We're going to discuss it with you.
So good.
Trade Rapids pass Aaron Wallace. Wallace goes in, misses the shot.
It's like a rebound right to him. They're going to kick it to
And
him.
here it comes. Oh, right there.
And Farmer just wow.
And here comes Keaton's nice phrase.
A nice three-point basket.
I thought the skating rink closed at 7.
The skating rink, I like that one.
Take one more look at it.
Three-point Royal. The three-point attempt. So good.
Keaton Collins afterwards, right here. Him and Roland were doing that game. After that crossover by Farmer, looks like Jordan Key just slid across the floor, and Keaton Collins with now what seems to be one of his catchphrases.
Yeah, I said I thought that the skating rink closed at 7 p.m. on Fridays, but apparently not, because it was 8:30 and he put that boy on skates. Yeah, I mean, it was just a beautiful play, and
Knocked down the three too.
oh yeah.
That was really nice. I mean, I was pretty impressed with the three afterwards. I'm like, that sealed the deal.
Yeah, Jordan Key was pretty upset afterwards too, and I was just like, it happened to him again against Monroe Central. He fell down, and I was just like, come on, guy, get some ankle braces, but it was all right.
And that's a wrap up of the boys varsity county tourney. We'll be right back after this break from a quick word from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
Didier Hardware is a family-owned hardware store that has been in Union City since 2005. They are a top store for any hardware or paint needs in a small-town setting. Didier Hardware has thousands of new merchandise available to be sold. The employees are specially trained to help out the customers in any way they can. If you want to come into Didier and check it out, they are open Monday through Saturday 8 to 7 and Sunday noon to 5. Come check out the store and experience the hometown hospitality in Union City.
Welcome back on ISN K.I.S.S TV network. We're going to bring you the varsity girls portion of the county. We're going to start out the first game against Winchester Falcons, who are they were 12-3 at the time. They are now 12-4 after we won. We started out 11-0. How do you think the girls responded to coming out 11-0 against a team where they didn't play very well in the first quarter against the last time they played them?
I think it was pretty well. Last time when they beat them, they came down. They were down by about 14, I believe. Then they came back and ended up winning by like 4. But this one, they started out ahead, and then the momentum kind of slowed.
Yeah, I feel like it was probably pretty motivating. Like, they didn't really do so great the first time, so it probably made them want to come out and play better.
After Winchester went down 11-0, they scored 18 points in the second quarter to make it a 3-point game at half. Maddie Lawrence, one of the best for Winchester, if not the best for Winchester, going to be one of the best girls in the county here soon. Had 3 fouls at the end of the first quarter. So, what do you think that? How do you think that affected the game in the second half?
Well, I think it played a big part because she's their leading scorer in most games. She can dribble, make stuff happen. So having her in foul trouble and having to have her on the bench for most of the second half and into the first half really did hurt the team with the way that they could attack our defense.
She did come back in the second half around the end of the third, and she hit 3 threes right back to back. It was, and at one she hit it and held up the 3-point sign, getting the crowd pumped up, and that's when they started taking the lead. And then we were actually down, I think, at the time. Let's see. We were down, I think, 1 at the time, and Cora Kearns came and hit a huge 3-pointer for the Lady Indians. What do you think was going through that senior's head as she shot that shot? She's usually a 3-point or a defensive specialist rather than a shooting threat. So how do you think she felt after making that big 3?
She probably felt pretty good after that. She was probably pretty excited and probably got the team pumped up quite a bit because usually when big things like that happen, it just motivates the whole team and everyone gets really pumped up.
Yeah, and I think the main thing that was probably going through her mind is somebody's got to make the 3-pointer. Might as well be me. And she just took the shot because she's a really good 3-point shooter. She rarely shoots it, though. She's more of a defensive player, but when she does get it offensively, she can make things happen when she, has confidence in her shot.
We're going to take a quick look at that replay here for you of Cora Kearns' big shot late in the third. Here you see Justice Cantor bringing it up 52-50, and then they're going to give it to Kearns, who's just going to fire.
Yeah, that was a big basket.
That's a huge basket for the senior. Just you can see in the background the crowd going crazy and everyone getting pumped up.
Yeah, I was one of those young lads going wild in the background. That was a pretty intense game, And, Winchester now has 4 losses and 2 of them are against us. So, that's got to say something.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to the second game, which was against the eventual champions, Monroe Central, who is 14-2, ranked 3rd in the state of 2A. It was a heartbreaker, close one until about the end of the fourth quarter. What do you think was going through their minds as the whole game went on?
Well, I believe coming into the game, they knew that Monroe Central was a tough opponent, and they played at a very high skill level. And so they could. The first half they played with them and stuck with them, and it was tied at halftime. But coming out after the break,
I think they outscored them by 5 in the third.
Yeah, and we only scored 14 points the second half, and you can't really have that when you're competing against a team of that caliber.
Yeah, I think when they came out, they knew they were a really good team, and I feel like when they're keeping with them, obviously they were still motivated and everything, but once they started get down a little bit, I think they just kind of lost it and they just kind of got down on themselves.
That's always been a hard thing to do at Union City. A lot of the teams, once they start getting down, they kind of hold their heads down, which always isn't the best thing to do.
Yeah, and I think the first half that we played, it was a very solid performance. But then the second half, we just couldn't get anything going with Monroe Central's defense was playing pretty solid, but I mean, we have a rematch against them Friday. See how that goes.
Ellie Kearns, who had a huge game against Winchester, she usually averages about or between 1 and 3 points. Had about 14 points against Winchester, and we're going to look at a quick highlight of her taking it to the rack with Jordan Bargy, a taller girl, and Bailey Duncan, who's also taller than her. We're going to look at a quick replay of that, and we'll discuss that. So here we go. See Jess Cantu up top. She's going to hand off to Kearns. Could have been a foul, but Bolton's not that big of a girl, so they're more evenly matched. What do you got to say about Ellie Kearns throughout the tournament? She didn't get honorable mention or anything like that, but she was definitely a player that helped them get to the championship.
I feel like she played really well, and like the time when she was in, she just handled the ball really well and did some really good things for the team.
Yeah, I feel like her performance against Winchester was solid because Cantu had 16 points in that game and Kearns had 14, and that's two players right over there that had like 2/3 of the team's points. So I mean, I don't know. It was I think she played good, and she comes off the bench too, so it's having that solid athlete come off the bench for you like that is a big benefit to the team.
So tied at half, they're going to the locker room. What do you think Coach Black was telling them?
I think she was telling them that we need to keep up the tempo and keep pressing the ball and to keep our defense solid. And I don't know. I think what was the big factor in the second half was just we couldn't get the offense rolling. That's what killed us.
Yeah, and then after that, kind of got our heads down and couldn't get it back.
We got in a little foul trouble. It's always not the best thing to happen when you can't play your big name players. So once we play them this Friday, or once we have the rematch against them, maybe it'll be a little bit different if our players don't get into foul trouble.
Yeah, I think hopefully it'll be a different outcome, and hopefully we'll be able to perform better. But Monroe Central's a solid team, and they're playing at a high level. So it'll be a tough game.
Boys and girls. It's a boy-girls doubleheader game. Since we got second in county, the girls did. They got runner-up. They're going to get 2 all-county nominations and 1 honorable mention. And the all-county goes to Justice Cantu and Courtney Wise, both 2 top players on the team. And then the honorable mention is going to go to Cora Kearns with her defensive effort and that big 3-point shot we looked at earlier. What do you got to say about Justice Cantu and Courtney winning those all-county?
Well, Justice, I mean, as you can tell, she's a great basketball player.
Performs every night.
Yeah, and she handles the ball real good, and she just kind of runs the offense for the team. And then Courtney's just good in the post, gets a lot of baskets, brings in a lot of rebounds, and that's really what you need.
Both of them hit big 3-point shots against Monroe Central. I think both of them, we were down 1, and they both hit shots to put us up 2. But that wasn't enough to push us over to get the win. And last thing, we'd like to congratulate Cora Kearns on winning the Gary Horner Award. Obviously, one of the nicest players on the court. She is a kind of a rough player when it comes to defense, but that's just how good defense has played. What do you guys got to say? Because we all watch her here at Union City, and I feel she's very deserving of the award. What do you got to say about her winning that award?
Well, the award went much more further than on the court. I feel like her efforts off the court are more outstanding than her efforts on the court because she's always a nice person, helps people, tutors people, and always puts in an effort, keeps up her grades and all that stuff while at the same time performing as an athlete in multiple sports. And I feel like that's what makes it impressive is not what she does on the court, but what she does on the court with like what else she does off the court is what makes her pretty impressive. And I think she deserved the award, and no one better to get the award than her.
Yeah, and also if you don't know, this year a lot of people viewing may not know that it's a tradition now that the Indians get in a circle after every game, win or loss, and they invite the other team to come join them, whether or not they're the favorite team, because we all know teams have rivalries. They'll invite them in for a group prayer, and that's usually led by Cora Kearns. That was kind of her idea. So it's always great to see a Union City Indian doing great things on and off the court, an athlete, student, and someone that serves the community. And that's going to be all for the girls' county recap.
Oh yeah.
And that's all for the county recap and the first episode of ISN. We'll be back with more episodes. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time.